Has this little chapter completely negated the Bardock Father of Goku special? Hey guys, Masako X here. Now Dragon Ball is filled with speculation, theories, ideas, debate, as well as retcons. Man, I can't believe how that's become a dirty word in the Dragon Ball community. So today's topic concerns one of the franchise's most treasured stories, Bardock, father of Goku, and we compare it to one of the franchise's most divisive stories, Dragon Ball Minus. What do these two have to do with each other, and why is the latter more legitimate than the former? First off, allow me to provide some assurance and context. The Bardock special is a great feature and it provides much needed information about the Saiyans and why Frieza blew up the planet. In the early 1990s, fans in Japan were just getting their heads around the fact that Goku was an alien, so any information that they could get would be highly desirable. I'm not telling any of you to go and boycott the future and label it non-canon now, because that would just be stupid and ridiculous. Bardock, father of Goku, is a valuable part of how Dragon Ball became a global success, so it should be treated with the utmost respect. Bardock is a low-class Saiyan warrior who is bestowed/burdened with a very special gift. He can see the future! He sees Frieza's plan to destroy the Saiyans and their home planet, and he's not gonna take this lying down. But his desperate pleas and actions to try and get the Saiyans to get off their ass and do something about it are met with very little interest. In fact, almost no interest. They effectively label him as crazy. After trying to avenge his allies and save his people, he and the rest of the Saiyans succumb to Frieza's mighty destruction. Goku as a baby is sent off the planet so he can then wreak the Saiyans' revenge against Frieza someday. There's a lot of avenging going on here, somebody better give Marvel a call. So that's the basic premise of the story, but there's one important fact to remember. The Bardock special is an animated special only. There is no manga equivalent of the story. In fact, Bardock didn't even have a name until the anime special, and he didn't even appear in the manga until chapter 307, which was in 1991, after the TV special came out. He appears for a couple of panels as Goku and Frieza stare down each other. In an interview with Saikyo Jump in March 2014, Akira Toriyama, the show's original creator, does confirm that Bardock was made for the anime special specifically, and only later brought into the manga. According to an earlier interview in the Jump Gold DBZ Special magazine in 1991, the process of creating characters for movies and specials is a rather informal affair. The series organizer Takao Koyama explains that he and his team, which includes the character designer Katsuyoshi Nakatsuru, remember the Super Saiyan 4 video, he also designed Bardock in part, usually come up with basic concepts and then hand them over to Toriyama for him to chime in with his own ideas and see whether they actually fit in the Dragon Ball universe properly. The resulting Bardock special was something that Toriyama praised and even shed a tear at, and also regretted that he didn't come up with the idea in the first place. Now, if Toriyama really enjoyed the Bardock Father of Goku special, why would he come back to the whole concept 20 years later and effectively rejig it quite considerably? This rejigging was realized in Jaco the Galactic Patrolman Volume 1. During Toriyama's production of the manga Jaco the Galactic Patrolman, he included a special chapter which contained the origins of Bardock and Goku, and included a new character, Goku's mother. As well as that, he added a special message, which he often does in his creations. It reads thus: "Just when you've unexpectedly learned a little bit about Dragon Ball's past, I've specially gone back just a little bit further and drawn anew the circumstances of Goku's departure for Earth, which even the author found out for the first time." Knowing Toriyama, this is just a little bit of fun and something not to be taken too seriously, but you know Dragon Ball fans. As such, we got Dragon Ball Minus, which is obviously a play on the idea of a chapter 0, so instead of a 0, we get a minus. Haha, Toriyama, you're a classic guy. The manga chapter only consists of about 10 pages and almost feels like a featurette. The story mostly consists of Bardock and the remaining Saiyans returning to Planet Vegeta on the orders of Lord Frieza. Bardock's a little suspicious about this, and upon his return, he demands that his son Kakarot, who's the only son on the planet, be sent off Planet Vegeta so they can figure out what the hell is going on before Frieza arrives. His wife Gine, Goku's mother, complies, and together they prepare a space pod which is then sent off towards Earth, saving Goku in the process. and luckily escapes the attention of the Galactic Patrol. Thank you, Jarko, and your lovable incompetence. 1 month later, Planet Vegeta is destroyed. The English version of this manga chapter was released by Viz only 3 days after its publication in Japan. That is very, very quick. But the overall consensus about Dragon Ball Minus is a negative one. You see what I did there? People hated all the inconsistencies with the Bardock special. People were traumatized about the fact that everything they knew about the 1990 TV special had been just completely rewritten, removed, completely nullified in their eyes. Bardock wasn't a badass anymore. Goku was a toddler and not a baby. Oh my god, this is so different. I can't take this. Ah! Oh god, we fans can't take anymore. What? You mean Bardock loved Goku from the outset instead of regarding him as weak and useless? Oh, this is just too much! I know, change is hard. And nobody's asking you to disregard the Dragon Ball special outright. It's part of Dragon Ball's history. It's something to be lauded and praised and watched many, many times and shared many, many times. But having said that, I really like Dragon Ball Minus's ideas despite it only being 10 pages long. It offers some interesting concepts. First off, we finally get to see Goku's mother, Gine, which is a play on the Japanese word negi, which is spring onion. Vegetables, Saiyans, makes sense. She's a kind-hearted Saiyan who used to fight with Bardock many years ago, but has since become soft and then disregarded as a warrior, and has since gone to the kitchens just to prepare meat for returning warriors. Then we're introduced to the fact that only several thousand Saiyans live on Planet Vegeta at any one time. This idea is fascinating, and it's all down to their innate savagery. Much like with animals, if you put too many Saiyans in close proximity to each other without a chance to let off some steam, you're gonna just get death and bloodshed. It's not gonna end well. It makes sense for Saiyans to naturally want to travel to other planets and conquer them. They're away from each other, they have some personal space to work effectively. To stay in one place for too long would be catastrophic, so their home planet is less of a home and more of a pit stop. I also like the idea that Vegeta and Raditz only survived because Vegeta was a stubborn brat who ignored orders. When you think about it, Frieza didn't exactly treat royalty with the utmost respect. If Vegeta had just been a weakling figurehead of a prince, he would have just been slaughtered with his father. Vegeta was lucky in that he was the most powerful of all the Saiyans bar his father, but he was only a kid, so he could be manipulated in theory by Frieza. Vegeta was strong, but not too strong. He could be kept in check by the likes of Zarbon and Dodoria, and then sent off to some kind of barracks somewhere to be forgotten. Being forgotten is the ultimate punishment for any kind of royalty. Then we have Goku and his birth. Goku is first seen inside an incubator and has been in said incubator for up to 3 years. But wait, 3 years since his birth? Or 3 years since his conception? This made me think of something. Are Saiyans born inside a test tube? So that means mothers aren't encumbered with pregnancy and recovery afterwards? Does that mean that they can return to the battlefield almost as instantaneously as dropping off some eggs and sperm? It makes sense given the fact that Saiyans are so few in numbers, they need as many hands on deck as possible. To not have to worry about pregnancy and childbirth is something that Saiyans would take with open arms. And if Saiyan children are grown inside incubators, it also removes the bond that parents have with their children. They're away, they're detached from that crucial period of imprinting. They don't get that connection like humans do. Normally this wouldn't bother a Saiyan, they just fertilize a test tube and then be on their way. But with Gine and Bardock, things were different. That difference is what stopped Frieza many decades later. Now speaking of Frieza, he is shown in the manga chapter talking about Super Saiyan God. This was thrown in because Minus was brought out a year after Battle of Gods was brought out, and that introduced the idea of Super Saiyan God, so it makes sense to add that into the history. 39 years prior to the Battle of Gods movie, Beerus was foretold by the Oracle Fish about the Super Saiyan God. Beerus didn't like the idea of this, someone who could challenge him, so Beerus called upon Frieza, the most influential dictator in Universe 7, to dispose of the Saiyan menace once and for all. Of course, Frieza would have been glad to help Beerus because anything that could stand in Frieza's way is something that he would want to dispose of as well. And even if Frieza didn't want to do it, he would have done it anyway because, you know, God of Destruction, he's kind of persuasive. Then we have the thought about Goku being sent off because he had to survive instead of just going on a standard mission. This makes his survival and place in the Dragon Ball story much more important and much more special. Goku was lucky for two reasons. First, his father cottoned on to Frieza's idea to destroy Planet Vegeta, and secondly because Jarko never found the Saiyan threat that he was supposed to eliminate, because he is a lovable and adorable idiot. Then when you throw that image of Goku banging on the door desperately to be with his parents as he's sent off to Earth, it's heartbreaking. He actually saw his parents. He knew of his parents as he was being sent away. That connection he never got. He was deprived of his original parents, and it kind of makes Goku's departure more impactful. And lastly, it makes way more sense for a Saiyan infiltrator baby to have basic motor and communication skills so it can take over a planet, not just be sent off as a baby with no survival skills whatsoever. That was an issue I had with the original story, but I kind of just looked the other way because I was a naive child, and I just rolled with the punches at the time. So in the end, I really like Dragon Ball Minus. It was able to provide a brief glimpse of Saiyan culture, as well as adapt Frieza's MO to destroy the Saiyan race because of Super Saiyan God, and reimagine Goku as a toddler, who managed to escape death from both Frieza and Jarko. Of course, nowadays, Jarko would claim that he meant to do that, and that was all part of the plan of a super elite. Finally, most of the events of the Bardock special could still take place, because in between Dragon Ball Minus's end and the destruction of Planet Vegeta, there is a month to play with. Bardock could do a lot in that time frame. He could just go off planet and figure out the plan behind Frieza's destruction of Planet Vegeta, try and put a stop to it, and acquire his legendary bloodstained bandana. Note, he wasn't wearing it during the manga. So should we consider Dragon Ball Minus the true origin story of Goku and Bardock? Yes and no. Yes, because it tidies up a lot of the original story's issues, as well as introducing some interesting and yet saddening nuances. And no, because the Bardock special is still a great story. In fact, I'm gonna go and watch it right now after I finish recording this. Also, Toriyama wrote and drew this manga chapter. It's pretty legit. So what do you guys think? Is Dragon Ball Minus worthy of respect? Do you like it more than the Bardock special? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Until the next one, be sure to like and subscribe. Until then, catch you later.